I'll say a number. You say whatever pops into your mind. Ready? 300. I'll go first and last because I can't hear you. In antiquity, 300 was the number of Spartans who fended off 1 million Persian invaders. In bowling, it's a perfect score. But today, 300 signifies the number in millions of school children around the world missing class due to coronavirus. The global scale and speed of the current educational disruption is unparalleled. That's a direct quote from the United Nations. Already some 24 countries on 3 continents have shuttered their schools. In Japan alone, 38,000 schools are closed. Let's expand the focus. The broader effects of coronavirus are clear. It is the first global crisis of the Trump administration. I was really hoping we could avoid that. The virus has spread to at least 70 countries, roiled international markets, undercut growth for the global economy, and prompted the World Bank to pledge $12 billion in loans to help battle it back. Rest assured, here in the United States, leadership understands facts, values expertise, and is ready to take the helm.
I like this stuff. I really get it. People are surprised that I understand it. Every one of these doctors said, "How do you know so much about this?"
To be sure, there are signs the U.S. is taking coronavirus more seriously than that. President Trump recently signed an $8.3 billion emergency spending bill to ramp up testing, aid, and prevention efforts, more than 3 times what he asked for. But just how big this crisis will get still isn't clear. There are at least 2 distinct possibilities. Scenario 1 is bounce back. China's heavy-handed tactics, travel restrictions, and quarantines contain the spread. Its economy gets back on track. Europe also manages as the virus proves seasonal in transmission. Emerging economies are harder hit, but most weather the storm. Markets stabilize, and by November time in the United States, the election is no longer about coronavirus. Scenario 2. A lack of global coordination allows for new cases to keep expanding. The Chinese economy slows for real. Western companies cut China from their supply chains. Beijing and the West move toward Cold War. Meanwhile, new outbreaks emerge globally. Panic buying ramps up, shortages ensue, and markets fall, contributing to Trump's worst poll numbers to date, just ahead of U.S. general elections, forcing the president to engage in even harder political tactics against his opponents. Similar stories unfold in Latin America and Europe, putting new pressures on populist governments as social discontent climbs higher. Global travel plummets, consumer confidence weakens, and for the first time in more than a decade, the world heads deep into recession, only this time without the benefit of a coordinated global response. Internal strife and even regional wars become more likely. There's little evidence any of this has served as a wake-up. Recently, an emergency conference call of G7 finance ministers and central bankers came away with no collective strategy. Instead, they promised to closely monitor ongoing developments, a piecemeal approach to a global crisis.